Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Timothy Lawrence, and I'm president and CEO of Purified. I'm a president, and this is my other president right here, Richard Raj. He is the president also of Purified City Water Treatment, Purified City Water Market. Today's meeting is an emergency meeting to discuss the current status of our water system, the current status of our drinking water system, the current status of our health issues, and what we can do about it. Today is not the day we're going to use to framers at any corporation or anybody like that. What we're going to be doing is discussing ways that we can minimize and eliminate the issues that has been determined that has been causing a lot of the health issues that have been soaring through our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to discuss the critical importance of supporting and maintaining sustainable water practices, particularly through the use of the company Purified City Water. By embracing safe water practices, we have the power to reduce and in time eliminate the health concerns associated with PFAS. First and foremost, let us acknowledge the significance of water as fundamental resources for life. Access to clean and safe water is the basic human right. Yet it is increasingly threatened by pollutants, including PFAS. These chemical compounds have been linked to detrimental health effects, posing risks to both human and well-being and environmental risks. Our company, committed to sustainability and public health, has developed Purified City Water as a viable solution. Here's why we need the support of not only you, but the people who are going to be listening and watching us later on. By shifting to Purified City Water, we can eliminate the risk of PFAS contamination. This will safeguard the health and well-being of individuals, reducing the incidence of disease associated with PFAS exposure, such as cancer, hormonal disruption, and immune system impairment. Environmental protections are in place. Sustainable water practices are essential for protecting our environment by eliminating PFAS from our water supply. We can prevent further contamination by water sources and mitigate harm to our ecosystem and preserve a quality of life. Our commitment extends beyond immediate benefits. Through continued support, we can invest in research and development to improve water treatment technologies, advance detection methods, and develop safer alternatives to PFAS. This will create a sustainable future and ensure clean, safe water for generations to come. As responsible corporate citizens, it is our duty to prioritize the well-being of our customers and community. By choosing Purified City Water, we demonstrate our commitment to ethical business practices and contribute to a broader goal of global water safety. Supporting sustainable water practices involves raising awareness about the risks of PFAS and its benefits using Purified City Water. We will actively engage in educational campaigns to empower individuals, communities, and policymakers with the knowledge needed to make informed decisions and drive positive change. Our collective support for sustainable water practices through the use of Purified City Water is crucial. By taking this step, we can reduce and eventually eliminate the health concerns associated with PFAS exposure. Let us stand together for our past well-being of our communities and pave the way for a future where clean and safe water is universal and everyday. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, What has been going on with our water system, what's been going on with our water supply, has been absolutely detrimental to us. PFAS started in 1938. In 1938, they created this new source called PFAS. And PFAS is used in everything that we use today on the footwear, to the cans that we put out, to the water that we drink, to the belts that we use, the leather, everything. The byproduct of that has, for the last 85 years, been built in our waters, our water supplies, in our rivers, and in our oceans. Over the course of the last 85 years, PFAS has been able to be detected in everything on earth, including humans. When the government first got involved with it, the initial regulation was 400 parts per trillion. Based off of internal research, we cannot confirm nor can we deny that the increased levels of PFAS is directly associated with cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, mental issues. With the removal of PFAS, I can assure you that these risks associated with the intake of it will reduce to high. In a moment, we're going to be talking to you guys. I do apologize due to the weather. We have to change up a lot of things. So we have to do things a little bit different. We're still right now with our equipment, but I still have my voice, I still have my memory, I still have my education, I still have my knowledge, and I still have my ability to tell you guys what is going on and what is possibly killing you in this country. In a minute, I'm going to be giving you guys some slides. I would like for you guys to take the time, if you have the time, to look at these slides right here. I'm going to ask you guys to come a little bit closer due to the fact that we have people around us as well as we don't have our big screens. What we have been able to do is we have been able to establish the first 13 cities who has ratified the Constitution of purified human water, which would establish 100% safe water. We will not wait for our government to tell us when they have gotten this situation together. We as a citizen, we as a people, we will act now. With the information that we currently have, and the information we will continue to push out to every city and town, even state and beyond, we hope and ensure that the issues that we've been dealing with will be reduced. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about today the PFAS exposure. PFAS exposure has been associated with various health impacts on humans. While research is ongoing, here are some commonly observed effects that are so far facts. Increased cholesterol levels. For years, we thought that food was the main source of our cholesterol issue. It has now been confirmed that PFAS is one of the main sources, or one of a major contributing source to our cholesterol issue. PFAS exposure has been linked to elevated levels of cholesterol, including total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, bad cholesterol. This can increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases. So now, if we have a substance that is in our water, in our food, in our clothes, in our everyday life, if this substance is in everything that we do, and it is causing us to have high cholesterol, then I can honestly say that a lot of heart conditions is due to PFAS, based on the current information that we have right now. Hormonal dysfunction. Certain PFAS compounds may interfere with the hormone regulation in the body, potentially affecting the reproductive health, thyroid function, and immune system. So when we have birth defects, when we have miscarriages, when we have hormone imbalances with our bodies. We go take a pill, we drink dirty water. It is not going away, it's only increasing. The babies that we're having, more and more of them are coming up with mental illnesses. This right here can now be linked to the very thing that we drink, bathe in, and swim in every day. Developmental delays. By drinking the current water right now, potential exposure has been associated with adverse effects on the fetal development, including warm birth rates, altered growth patterns, and potential developmental delays. From 1938 to 2023, we have been ingesting more PFAS in our generations. There have been 4 generations. One major spike in ADD was in the early to late 90s. This right here can now be associated with PFAS. It is in every drop of water that we're currently drinking. It is in the majority of the clothes that we're wearing. It is everywhere. It has been detected in the foods that we eat. If this poison is in everything that we are doing, and it is currently increasing by the numbers, and it is mostly affecting California, high industry areas, places where there are high industry. Here in Massachusetts, we're going to be releasing a movie that was created right here in Massachusetts, talking about this deadly water. So what we will not do is we will not sugarcoat this. We will expose this for what it is, and we will make sure that everybody who listens to the sound of our voice understands this water is killing us. Increased cancer risk. By ingesting the current water, cancer has increased over the last 85 years. Some studies suggest a possible link between PFAS exposure and certain types of cancer, such as kidney, like the 4 swimmers in Weymouth. They used to swim in this river. They're all dead. They all died of pancreatic cancer. How is it that 4 swimmers in this state swim in the same water and die of the same thing? Increased cancer risk. Some studies suggest a possible link between PFAS exposure and certain types of cancer, such as kidney, testicular cancer, as well as possible associations with other cancer, including prostate cancer, breast and liver cancer. However, more research is needed to establish a definitive causal relationship. Because we have never studied the very chemicals that we have dumped in our rivers, in our lakes, and in our oceans, we do not know what it is doing and how it is killing us as well as our kids. However, more research is needed to establish a definitive causal relationship. It is important to note that the health effects of PFAS exposure can vary depending on the specific compounds. How many, just by show of hands, how many people know how many compounds of PFAS is currently in our water? I'm going to tell you right now, so you don't have to think. There are over 4,000 compounds of PFAS currently found in our water system. Over 4,000 compounds of PFAS is currently in our water system. It is important to note that the health effects of PFAS exposure to vary on specific compounds, levels, and duration of exposure. An individual susceptibility test will be conducted. Currently, right now, very few hospitals are offering this, but we're pushing for Massachusetts to immediately start testing everybody in the state for levels of PFAS. Once you determine what your current level is, then you can determine how long it takes to get this out of your system. I can assure you that if we focus on the water that we're drinking and what we're ingesting and the foods that we're eating, which we will get everybody to test their foods. Find out what is inside of this potato. Is it a potato or is it a potato with PFAS in it? If the foods have PFAS in it, which has been tested, if the bodies that we live in have PFAS in it, then we are eating and ingesting death. We cannot put this to you in any other way. We will not put this to you in any other way. We're asking for government to move really swiftly, bring in every scientist and scientists that they have to ensure that we get this fixed. Now, originally, the EPA set the regulations for the amount of PFAS that is allowed in the system. And as you all know, just yesterday, we just had 3 major water facilities. Basically, they told the water is toxic. That's Rhode Island. Basically, do not drink the water. As the news reports say, the water is not good. So if the water is not good for drinking, why are we bathing in it? Your body absorbs water through its skin as well as through your mouth. And if you're bathing in water that you cannot drink, then you're absorbing the very thing that is killing us. We need to immediately shift from this current action and shift back over to drinking clean water. I'm not going to be here long because we're going to be going to every city and town in the entire state of Massachusetts and ensuring that everybody hears the sound of my voice and understand the danger that this is not a game. No one is something that listen to stuff. This right here is absolute chaos waiting to happen. And I use such strong words because I want swift and immediate actions. Now, today, what we're about to do next, while we're live on both feeds, and we have the people who are committed to helping and serving, we're going to go through some slides. Right now, we're going to take a quick break because I know this is a lot to take in right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them right now. All right. So we'll be right back. The break. Enjoy the food. We'll be right back in the second part.
EWG has been on the front line fighting to ban fluorinated chemicals for more than 20 years. It started when I read an article in May 2000 in the New York Times announcing 3M Company's plans to abruptly stop making its popular Scotchgard products from a chemical the company had been using for decades. I found it odd, to say the least, that 3M would take this action voluntarily. Scotchgard was making them $300 million per year in sales. A few days later, the New York Times published an update. The true story was that the EPA had threatened to take regulatory action against 3M if they did not voluntarily end production of Scotchgard and the chemical in question, which we now know as PFOS, after internal company documents revealed numerous ominous red flags for EPA scientists about PFOS toxicity and contamination. This story had me at internal company documents, and by the summer of 2000, EWG scientists and communications experts were in the chase, the beginning of what would be decades of research, publications, and advocacy to document and solve the problem. The details were devastating. 3M had found that humans around the world were polluted with PFOS. It lingered in human blood and in drinking water for years. And in laboratory testing, most rats exposed to PFOS in utero died shortly after birth. Much of what we learned in those years we owe to Rob Bilott, the lawyer who led a class action suit filed by residents of Parkersburg, West Virginia, where the DuPont Teflon plant operated and a similar fluorinated compound, PFOA, was showing the same profile of toxicity and contamination. Rob was masterful at winning discovery fights against the company, forcing it to release thousands of insider documents about PFOA, the most important of which Rob delivered directly to the EPA. Decades of internal memos and test results detailing what DuPont managers knew about PFOA's toxicity and when they knew it, including DuPont's efforts to keep it all secret, even from their co-workers and the communities they were poisoning. EWG scientists kept track of every important new disclosure at EPA and translated the information to policymakers and the media, generating a steady stream of headlines. We're very proud to have been the first advocacy group to bring national attention to PFAS pollution, and we're honored to be fighting side by side today with frontline groups and community leaders across the country who now lead the grassroots fight. Over the course of 20 years, EWG's analysis, expert commentary, water and product testing, and peer-reviewed research have steadily advanced the science and publicly available health data on fluorinated chemicals. And through all of this, we've been unrelenting in our push for action from EPA, the CDC, FDA, and lawmakers. EWG's map of PFAS contamination sites nationally has become a standard reference for journalists and policymakers. Regrettably, the list of contaminated sites and water supplies grows with every passing week. In 2019, EWG scientists published our own health-based limits for PFAS, using the most up-to-date research available. EWG's strict standard of 1 part per trillion is supported by other leading scientists and reflects the extreme harm these chemicals can have on our health at very low levels. It stands in stark contrast to EPA's so far weak attempts to stem the flow of PFAS pollution. Thanks to our work and the work of local leaders in impacted communities, members of Congress have begun to make PFAS pollution a priority. After 20 years of relative inaction, more than 60 bills to reduce and remediate PFAS pollution were introduced in 2019 and 2020 in Congress. President Biden included a rigorous plan to address PFAS pollution, mirroring EWG's recommendations. States are taking even more rigorous action to set regulatory limits for PFAS in tap water and groundwater, and to restrict or ban it in consumer products. Today, with your help, EWG is seeing the fruit of more than 2 decades of nonprofit research and advocacy pay off in widespread bipartisan support of PFAS regulation, bringing us closer than ever before to cleaning up legacy contamination and turning PFAS pollution off at the source. you.